Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. We're back down here at Water. I want to feed the hives just a little bit. And what we can expect in this yard is we got the strips in, and we got our top box is full of honey, but our bottom brood box, it's all just brood. So what I want to do is I'm going to manipulate the hives a bit, feed them, and get that bottom brood box full of a bit more nectar. And that way it's going to just give them that extra boost through the winter. So we'll get cracking, we'll get into it, and we'll show you through the video how I do this. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this hive, show you exactly how I overwinter in a double brood box system. I only ever overwinter in a double brood box if my hive is really strong. And what's happened this year is I've left the second box full of honey. What I had was a one box brood system in the summer. So what's happening here is I'm just going through this top box. As you can see, there's a little bit of capped brood, but it'd only be 1 or 2 frames, and the rest of the frames will be all capped honey from this season's honey harvest. What that does is that it holds a lot of resources for the hive going into winter, but the main priority is that it also holds heat. It keeps the heat in the hive really high, as the liquid is a really good heat insulator. So that's one thing that most people overlook, is that that they think that empty frames isn't a worry. It's a huge problem. If you have empty frames, you need to do something about it so that the hive is able to maintain its heat. Cold hives turn into dead hives. So you can see there's an empty frame there. So I just turn it around, let the bees work on one side, and we'll give them a feed to fill that up. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this top honey super off, and we're going to go down and have a look at this bottom brood box. This is primarily where the queen was laying, as I did have a queen excluder above this bottom brood box. So she was only able ever to lay in this bottom brood box. As you can see, we've got some capped brood here on the outside of the box. So I know that the queen's going to be laying all the way across this brood box. You can't see any brood here, but when I went through it, there's uncapped larvae the queen had just laid. And we've got another capped brood frame there, and then yeah, it's all looking quite well. Bees looking healthy. Got a good amount of bees on the frame, so we were quite happy with the population of this hive. So going through this hive, what I want is I want this bottom brood chamber to have a little bit more resources. As you can see, it's pretty much just all brood, and going into the winter I want a little less brood, but a little bit more clustered and confined. At the moment she's got lots of room to lay, so you will see a lot of empty cells that she might have been able to lay within the brood pattern. I quickly just point the queen out just there. So what I'm going to do is I really want more sugar syrup to be stored down into this bottom brood box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these boxes around. I'm going to put the bottom brood box here. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to put it up top, and I'm going to put the honey super on the bottom. So just finishing my last inspection on the last frame, put back this last brood frame in the hive. Gently push it down, make sure I don't squash the bees. Pop up the front, lift it off. It's quite light because it hasn't got a lot of resources in there. It's just all brood, and then this honey box is quite heavy. Gently put it down on the floor, put the frames down, turn around, grab the brood box, and then I'll chuck it on top. So I'm just manipulating the boxes, chuck my top feeder on top, give the bees a feed, and then this sugar syrup the bees are going to directly pull and put straight into that brood chamber, as there's not much room down in the honey super, and there's lots of room that they can make in that honey in the brood chamber, just as I was illustrating. Just getting the bees that fly in, kind of a pain in the ass having the bees fly in there every now and again. Can't save them all, and that's the way you do it.